What was that random voice that's trying to communicate with me right now? It has almost been a year since the first and so far only episode of the Mysteries of Krüger Mansion, and I am still the first and only one to do a full review on it, not including Silly Billy's reaction. Also, please check out Silly Billy, his stuff is absolutely hilarious. Well, seeing that it is about to be Halloween, and I am also on the works on my own haunted mystery story called Mythos of the Haunted Hayride, let us seek into some inspiration when we dive into the Mysteries of Krüger Mansion. So, long story short, The Mysteries of Krüger Mansion is an original indie project created by Derek Jackman from Totally Tops Television and Blue Studios as a continuation for after their reunion project got assassinated with copyright by Fresh TV, and then got renewed with a trailer in December of 2023 and promised to shorten the series down into a movie coming in January of 2024, which after that got pushed back to February on a leap day in the next trailer. And then after that, got turned into part of a series with part 2 coming in 2 weeks from the start of March. And then after that... yeah, he's gone. But enough with whatever the heck happened with Reunion. After Fresh TV copyright struck Blue Studios for using the Total Drama characters, that's when he decided to create his own characters in a horror reality TV show, in which 14 young adults compete for the name of this mysterious manor of the Krüger Mansion. And on the surface, I still remember after the first episode of Reunion just got struck, I was hyped and super invested with this brand new project, as Kendall used to be my favorite from just the first impression I got from her character description before I started to see how much of a wild pets characters like Kendall and Flint were going to be. So when watching the first official episode of Krüger Mansion, I instantly fell in love with the attitude of someone with a little more pep into her step. And speaking of all of the characters, yeah, the characters of Krüger Mansion is just an example of how to not judge a book by its cover, since seeing all of the separate profile bios for them as well as the character analysis videos for some of them made me get the impression that they will all be interesting and versatile characters with at least a sense of authentic chemistry with one another in the series. But given that first impressions as a whole is very important with how you are going to view them for the rest of this journey, witnessing most of these characters live in action, especially when it comes to their dialogue, just gives off super corny I'm not like other people vibe, which is just like the I'm not like other girls trope, but much worse given that it's just that one person times most of your cast. While I tend to be the most tolerant compared to other people whenever it comes to the cool girl trope who tries to prove herself to be not like other girls, ironically making her like other girls who fall into this trope, at least two people who are not as tolerant as me can at least appreciate the fact that it usually tends to be just that one character as opposed to almost your entire cast, including the boys who with forced cringy dialogue that gives off I'm not like other people vibes, where real life people don't talk like this.
Hey, pretty boy. Hope you brought Moxie under all that body spray.
Simple-minded question?
I'm a simple man.
Gag me.
Gladly.
Literally, I despise Fargo's character, and I regret ever feeling interest in her as a fellow swimmer and choosing to trust her in the character quiz. FYI, if you're asking, yes, I did take the character quiz multiple times, and at first I have gotten Kip the nerd who was barely a character based on the first episode, until I recently took it again and got Kendall, the writer's pet protagonist. Oh joy. And so yeah, when it comes to the first impressions we get of each of the characters, we have Darla, Aaliyah, Turan, and Kip, who are merely just background characters for this episode, and doesn't really seem to be doing anything at all. Heck, Kip only got his 3 lines for this episode, and I got him on the Krüger Mansion quiz, so what's up with that? Wiley in this episode fits in between the background character and the takes himself too seriously character, especially whenever he leans on the walls and gives these kind of looks to Kip as if he is going to be the type of high school jock who picks on the dorky nerd in class. How original. Now, Mick, Sammy, Kendall, and slightly Amber falls into the take themselves too seriously characters. Mick's type of anime love interest cliche of the broody, tough, stoic, but gets hot-headed when you do the most trivial things just gags my eyes out. And speaking of love interests, Silly Billy already pointed this out in his reaction that there will usually be ship teasing moments in the start of an episode that will foreshadow if a relationship is going to occur, or as I like to put it shortly, ooh, the foreshadowing. And seeing that he saw Mick getting these kinds of interactions from Amber, go far away, go, and Kendall, he assumed that he would be like the Hunter from this Adventure Cap, which is another Torodoma-inspired fan series of the Mysteries of Krüger Mansion, who would get himself in a tumultuous love triangle, just for, in Hunter's case, to have them all be friends who are in a somewhat polyamorous relationship with each other at the end. Just to drop the whole polyamorous representation out of the window by having Hunter and Allie hook up. Will that kind of love triangle polyamorous confusion happen within the Mysteries of Krüger Mansion? Hopefully not, since we already have enough broody cliches when it comes to this character, so please don't try to formulate another one with Mickey Mouse Broodhouse. Sammy just presents himself as the non-ladies magnet version of Mick, whose whole stick is that he trusts nobody in the "oh yeah, I'm the most coolest quirky character around here" vibe, who sneaks off to do things so Lockhart wouldn't approve of. Such my senpai bad boy, and he's a graffiti artist too? Originality. It does exist, you know. Kendall, once again, used to be my favorite based on her character bio, video analysis, and quiz description until this episode where she becomes one of the characters that takes herself too seriously. With her heterochromia, secretive and whispery nature, and her detecting that the stars are different and scattered due to her astronomy studies and a bit of ship teasing between her and Amber? But how am I supposed to know? They are both presented as taking their roles way too seriously for me to see any hint of chemistry besides them trying to prove to the audience how serious they can be. And speaking of Amber, since I feel really bad putting her in the takes themselves too seriously category, seeing that I did feel somewhat sympathy for what I had gotten to learn about her from the character bio and the video on her. But the first impression of Amber here was just pretty meh. I mean, she dabbles with music and seems like the silent musician types who gets the most openly harassed by Eli and the most openly ship teased by Boring Brew number 1. But other than that, her character never really stood out in the first episode, and out of anyone here, I just hope she gets together with Kendall so they can both be brutally bland together. So Lockhart also belongs in the takes himself too seriously category that I really want to like, given his somewhat mysterious approach of knowing everyone's last name, apart from Yoi as the young, inspiring ventriloquist. And giving out the backstory to the Krüger Mansion. But outside of that, he doesn't appear to have a character apart from being a walking encyclopedia and looking like a butler. I would really like to see him develop more of a sense of personality later down the line, and even have some hidden cheeky interaction with some of the others, such as in that small moment with Yoi. As within my Mythos of the Haunted Hayride counterpart, Mistress Silversii, the coachwoman of the Haunted Hayride, she does give off a mysterious aura in the similar way as Sir Lockhart, when revealing most of the tales that are coming to life right before their very eyes. But she is presented presented less as a cheeky walking encyclopedia and more like a full-blown three-dimensional person who tries to cover up her true identity whenever the group care to act as the mystery to her emotional backstory of her connection within the haunted hayride holds more of a drive to her character, as well as her interactions with her comical, somewhat love-hate dynamic with Jared, and secret admiration for Quillis's curiosity and Melita's compassion of the supernatural world fleshes her out as a character more. And so, if the Mysteries of Krüger Mansion ever get founded by a larger network, then I really hope that they will take somewhat of a similar direction by fleshing out Sir Lockhart from just the walking encyclopedia with rare interactions with others. And then there's Fargo. 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 You know, back when I said that I can tolerate the I'm not like other girls trope? Well, clearly, there was a flippin' difference between being that and being a Fargo. And I hope she'll be the one that dies for the Eli. Not the best first impression, as he comes off as a creep towards women. Meanwhile, Fargo can get away with her constantly harassing Belle because it's alright. It's alright. Not really much to say about him, but his voice actor is definitely adding more personality to his character compared to some of the other characters. And I swear, if they purposely make Eli be the black man who dies first before Fargo, I am gonna— Danny. The typical naive newcomer who we get introduced to first as well as follow along throughout this journey, and she's harmless enough. The major flaws within the first impressions of some of these characters are either far too hammy to take them serious or are incredibly tropey with no unique spin to them, which includes the background characters, the Fargo, and the Simp. With Danny's naive newcomer thing going on for her, she is just presented as particularly bland with nothing going for her, but she's nervous about this whole situation despite being so excited to be on the show at first. Which is something that I have never seen in multiple shows before. Bite me.
Glad.
Shut up! I'm Fargo! Flint. I can already tell he is going to be the writer's favorite type of character. Similar to how Owen was the comedic icon of total drama, except it will be Flint being the comedic icon of the Mysteries of Krüger Mansion, mixed in with a Chris McLean voice impression. And even though I don't really find him particularly funny so far, especially with the constant Totally Tops television references, cause get it?
Staged or not, it made for some Totally Tops television. Oh man! This is totally tops!
The only reason for me even getting the slightest interest for Flint is how he got shifted to Yuri, who is ultimately the best character show to offer, who immediately deserves the entire world of happiness to me. And if you're making Yuri happy, then you have earned my enduring respect. But fight me if you ever break your heart. Fight me! Which gets us into my new favorite character after watching this episode for the very first time. Yui Kiyoyama, a Japanese name to a woman with brown hair and slightly slanted eyes, which are pretty much most of the character's eye shape, so yeah, this is a bit of unintentional whitewashing. But aside from that, I have to give her voice actress Emma Anderson more the props for having her vocal delivery sound the most natural to an actual human being compared to everyone else minus Flint and Eli. What really made me fall in love with this character is her pure sense of optimism that I hope all doesn't go to waste just to have her fit into the quirky best friend trope of the naive newcomer. Even if there might be something up with her. I mean, come on, one of the only person to deliver her lines naturally? Plus, give out an open, trusting, and friendly demeanor, with Sir Lockhart specifically addressing her as an aspiring young ventriloquist unlike anyone else, and is known to have a persuasive background? Could Yui be the traitor who is suppressing her truth through a connection to the Krüger bloodline? Hopefully she is, so she could have all but Flint dead just to marry him, because Yui's happiness always comes first to me. Anyways, Yui is an absolute small and adorable sweetheart who gives off the most aspiring and my favorite line in all of Krüger Mansion.
My parents taught me that being nervous and excited evoke the same feelings. Sometimes I get nervous about meeting new people too, but When I convert that adrenaline to excitement, I find a lot of solace.
Finally, an actual human being has been detected. So in conclusion, Yui has all my love already, as I am predicting she will be the traitor and will hopefully spare the black man from dying first and will start with Fort Go! Anyways, that's all for the character's first impressions, and so now it's time to dive into the world building, my favorite aspect in any fantasy or horror related media. What we see and learn about the Krüger Mansion so far, from the ventriloquist room to the fortune room to even the backstory of the Krüger estate, in which I really adore the style nod to the Salem witch trials, are all spectacular. And it really got me invested to see what was the other contestants' reflection cards said about them, besides Kip getting intelligence and maybe Mick got courage based on his character bio. And by all characters, I just met Yui and maybe Flint, only cause he makes my girl happy. So 10 out of 10 on the first episode's world building, and I will be more than thrilled to dive more into the horrors the Krüger Mansion estate will have in store for us all. So in conclusion, even though the first impressions of most of these characters were either non-existent or full of generic cliches, I can definitely see a lot of passionate possibilities that are yet to be explored with the entire world building of the Krüger Mansion. And while I am so far not really that invested with the kind of tropey one-dimensional characters except for Yui, that I'm not even going to predict who will win the Krüger estate, since I don't really feel attached to have any of these characters win or lose the game. Except for Go! She needs to lose now, and die fast! So while the eliminations part of the story doesn't pique my interest, since most of these characters' first impressions were not so good, I am still really invested with the hidden design cameo of the ghosts, as well as the mysterious storytelling lore that delivers so much promise for haunted ghost stories, and the secrets that are still left to be untold inside the Mysteries of Krüger Mansion. Actually, when I started to think about it, do you know the reason why it has been about a year now and there's no more new episodes as of right now until the creator Derek Jackman with Nick Snyder gets the series pitched to a bigger company network? Well, it's because everybody died and no one won the estate, the end. Oh wait, never mind. But for real, please support the project right now.